I think we good. I think we good. I just got a note, and I know y'all didn't see it, but I think we good. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Yeah, I think we good now. I think we good. I think we good. Hold on, let's get this started. Let's get this popping. Let's get this started. Let's get this popping, y'all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, y'all already know what time it is. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. I want to thank y'all for tuning in every Thursday, every Sunday, every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30. This show continues to grow, and I want to thank for all of y'all support. And it's because of y'all, the energy, that love that y'all give each and every episode, and sharing that information. Y'all know, for some of our first time watchers, we talk about everything here. So again, I want to thank y'all for tapping in. It means the world to me. It really, really does. Just tapping on this right quick. Yeah, so y'all, I want to thank y'all. That's a whole bunch of y'all in the chat showing a whole bunch of love. I'm going to get to y'all in just a quick second. I want to thank, again, the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps. Again, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. Also, I want to thank y'all for supporting my new EP. That's also in all music platforms right now. Winners Loyalty, just type in Ashley Lovechild, and Winners Loyalty will pop up 6 songs of pure fire. For those who love that hip hop, make sure y'all continue to support and show the new project some love. Also, quick shout out to Hazel Hinnett in the building. Again, she got her new album out right now, member of the OUV Records team. Her new album right now, Cover Girl, so make sure y'all tap in right now, also on all music platforms. We're on the road to 20,000 subs. We're a little over 11,000 subs, so continue to like, subscribe, and share. Got over 450 rewatchable videos and shorts of this podcast on this channel. So again, continue to support by hitting that like and subscribe button. There's also membership portions of the page. Membership portions in the page, I should say. Links in the bio. Different memberships get different access. So make sure you check them out. We also got them badge holders. In the building. Some of our day ones already in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Shout out to Ebony in the building. Hazel, they go Hazel in the building right there. Shout out to Treeman in the building. Shout out to Winter in the building. Shout out to King P in the building. Appreciate the gifted. Been bumping your album Ready to Live, bro. Literally every song fire. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, appreciate for you supporting the show and the gifted, man. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to, who else? Culture in the building. Shout out to Paul. We got Paul in the building. Shout out to Solo Slim in the building. One of our badge holders, man. Them badge holders, man. Yo, what's good, homie? Salute. You heard me? Yo, appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Alexandra in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. I might, y'all. I might need a few y'all to do some mod work tonight. I might. Because I know how y'all get when it comes to people up here talking crazy. Y'all be ready to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Me, I let them cook a little bit, then I get rid of them. But I might need that work tonight. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? But again, I appreciate y'all tuning and tapping in again every Thursday, every Sunday. We got Slovakia in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Wow, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Appreciate you tapping in. All right. Cool. All right, let's get this started, y'all. Let's get this started. Again, if this is your first time tuning in, tapping this, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast, and I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild, where we talk about everything. Let's get it started. First segment of the night, y'all. First segment of the night, popular opinions. Y'all already know these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the questions. This segment is brought to you by OUV Records, where the label model is create, document, and inspire. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. First question of the night. Biggest change we need in today's economy. Biggest change we need in today's economy. Number one. Oh, yeah, okay. So yeah, the biggest change that we need in today's, okay. Lack of jobs. Number two, high prices. Number three, high taxes. Number four, high insurance rates. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, the question is the biggest change we need in today's economy. The biggest change we need in today's economy. Again, number one is lack of jobs. Number two, high prices. Number three, high taxes. Number four, high insurance rates. So let me know what y'all think in the chat. All of these are immediate changes that we need off the bat. But me personally, I'm going to say high insurance rates. I think that's the easiest thing that we could get to right now. These insurance rates are ridiculous. Like, even having like car insurance, what would normally cost maybe about, I would say $800. Literally I would say like 3 years back, we are now in the stage where that same $800 is now $2,400, which is crazy. I mean, that's 3 times the amount than what we used to pay on the same insurance. And actually, we're not even getting the same insurance. It's actually even worse because people are paying the 800 and you're getting lack of. So you're paying more for the deductible and you're getting less than what you would have normally got. So me personally, I'm going with high insurance rates. In the chat, I'm seeing taxes. Everybody going with them high taxes. That's what I'm seeing in the chat. Everybody saying high taxes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Them insurance rates are high. Crazy. It's crazy. The insurance rates is crazy right now. But majority of y'all saying taxes. Even lack of jobs. There do need to be a consist of more jobs because you're seeing more people opting not even to go to work anymore. And I believe it's because the job market is just so like piss poor. A lot of people are spending gas money to get to a job to only pay them gas money, which is wild. So, but to me, I'm going with high insurance rates. High prices is another one too. Shout out to Reggie in the build. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes while you're here, even though you're being super duper weird. But hit them likes while you're here. Hit them hearts. Shout out to the Rug Man. Appreciate you tapping in. Again, hit them likes. Hit the 100s while you're here. Couldn't keep. Okay, shout out to Reggie. Shout out to Reggie. And we're going to say bye to Reggie. Say bye to Reggie, y'all. Shout out to Reggie. Yo, it's crazy. We get them every episode, don't we, y'all? All right, so again, I went with high insurance rate. The chat in itself went with high taxes. The chat went with high taxes. The rest of the world at 61%. Damn, at 61%. Over 6,000 people voted on this. Actually, over 8,000 people voted on this. Everybody went with, well, the rest of the world went with number two, high prices. Again, that's 61%. The rest of the world went with number two, high prices on that. Honestly, any one of these will help immediately, to be honest with you. Any one of these, an immediate help would be beautiful. But again, I went with insurance rates because insurance rates, like what's the not what's the purpose, but can you imagine if everything else goes down? Like if we go back to a lower cost of living. We don't have low cost of living. Let's say we go back to a lower cost of living. Let's say if we have a lower taxes, there's more jobs, but the premiums still sky high. So we're basically giving the money right back. And that's why I went with that. But the chat, y'all went with them high taxes because, you know, you're getting less money during tax time, you know. So I'm, you know, we got a little difference on that. But sometimes we just don't see eye to eye sometimes, which is cool. I love my chat for that because there's always a mix of ideas from me and my chat, you know what I'm saying? And the rest of the world. Like, it's so crazy. All three of us had different answers. I had a different answer, the chat had a different answer, and the rest of the world had a different answer. I love that, actually. All right, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Favorite hip-hop producer, beat maker on this list. Favorite hip-hop producer, beat maker on this list. Number 1, Kanye West. Number 2, Dr. Dre. Number 3, Pete Rock. Number 4, Timbaland. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, your favorite hip-hop producer slash beat maker on this list. Number 1, Kanye West. Number 2, Dr. Dre. Number 3, Pete Rock. Number 4, Timbaland. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Let me know. In the chat, I'm seeing a mix. I'm seeing mix of Dre. I'm seeing Kanye in the chat. Honestly, these are all legendaries. That's why I choose the favorite instead of the best, because everybody qualification on what's the best is different. So, you know, for me, that's why I say that. You know what I mean? So that's why I love the favorite category. So I'm seeing a little bit of everybody. I'm seeing Kanye, I'm seeing Dre, and I'm seeing Timbaland. Nobody said Pete Rock. Pete Rock has some of the most legendary production ever made in hip-hop history. He does. For me, as an artist myself, if you tell me, yo, I'm going to be in the studio with this particular person because, you know, it's just part of my dream list as far as producers to work with. In my opinion, if I had to pick one producer to work with from this list, because I would pick all of them. Ah, my goodness. I'm actually going to go with Pete Rock. I'm going to go with Pete Rock. Kanye West, Dr. Dre, Timbaland is all fire. Premier's not on this list. Shout out to Vic in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Vic, don't be a jerk, because I would have said Premier. I would have said Premier. You know what I'm saying? I would have said Premier. Don't be a jerk. You know what I'm saying? Because that's you know what I'm saying? We 2 and 2, bro. You feel me? We 1 and 2, you heard? So I would have said Premier. You know what I'm saying? I would have said Premier. They're the GOATs. Now that's a fact. These are the GOATs. Premier's a GOAT too. Pause. But I would have definitely picked Premier. Again, that New York energy, that, you know what I'm saying? But just off the list alone, Dr. Dre, none of these producers, in my opinion, can't miss. But if I had to pick somebody suited to my style, that's, you know, I have a lot of soul in my music. I had a little bit of that bounce in there, you know, all mixed up into one. I'm gonna go with Pete Rock myself personally. So I'm gonna say Pete Rock. The chat, y'all basically represented everybody, because everybody had their own. Like, I'm seeing a mix of everybody in the chat. I saw Kanye, I saw Pete Rock. I saw Kanye, I saw Dre, and I saw Timbaland. Again, I went with Pete Rock. The rest of the world at 59%. Over 66,000 people voted on this, y'all. At 59%, the rest of the world went with Dr. Dre. Again, I'm not mad at Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre can give you any and every style of hip-hop, whether it's West Coast, East Coast, Dirty South, Midwest. He can do it all, and at a high level, and could make your sound like your sound. But me personally, I'm gonna go with Pete Rock, because he just got some of the, like, and all of these guys got some of the most fire beat ever made in hip hop history. But Pete Rock got at least like 3 of the top 10 or top 15 ever made. Like, so I'm gonna go with Pete Rock for me personally as an artist myself. Shout out to Jay in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Dre hasn't made a beat better than Troy. See, here's the thing, and this is what I don't want people to misrepresent. All of these guys, you can't go wrong with all of them. This is about your favorite, right? So, but you also got to remember body of work. You can't take one beat and be like, yeah, that one beat is better than all the beats that this legendary producer did. You know what I'm saying? So I get where you coming from, but I disagree. You know what I'm saying? Because again, Dre got beats East Coast style, West Coast style, Midwest style, Dirty South style. He done mastered it all. So, you know what I'm saying? But again, it's about your favorite. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily about who's better, it's who's your favorite. Because honestly, all of these guys are great. So there's no wrong answer on this. So again, appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Hollywood Need to Ask Us. Again, I came up with the segment because for the majority of the year, we've been getting trash ass movies, except for July. I don't know, they just put all the best movies out in July, but with the exception of July, we been getting some trash ass movies at the theater. And I feel like I got better ideas for a better movie or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us tonight. I want to see Juice Part 2. I want to see Juice Part 2. I think this will absolutely be chef's kiss if they do this correctly. So if you're going to do Juice 2, obviously Tupac is gone. He's passed away. So obviously you don't have him in it. But he passed away in the movie. So it works and fits perfectly for a part 2. All the other characters is still alive. All the other main characters, I should say. I'm in favor of bringing back Tretch, bringing back Samuel L. Jackson, bringing back Queen Latifah, Omar Epps, Khalil Kain, Jermaine Hopkins, George O'Gore, who played the little brother, Cindy Herron, Special Ed, Sharon Clark, and I will add Diamond Lines. Yeah, Diamond Lines to this cast. He plays like the middle son on the Upshaw's. And I think this will be a fire movie because remember, Juice, it was a coming to age type of movie at that time. So if they release this movie around this time or do it this time around, it's basically a coming of age for their kids or their grandkids. And they could kind of direct them on the pitfalls of what they possibly could do with this. But I would bring some of these characters back in a more positive way. For example, one of the most critical characters in this movie that people don't like to talk about is Blizzard. He's such a pivotal character, even though he ended up dying. His son could be somebody positive in this version of it. And the reason why he did rob or try to rob the local bar is because he found out his girlfriend was pregnant. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's different ways that they could really have fun with this. And I think it would be absolutely dope. Old school movie, Juice. What about Wesley Snipes? Shout out to H. Buster in the building. Wesley Snipes wasn't in this, though. He wasn't in the original. And I'd rather keep the original cast. And if we add more people or add new people, they should be on the younger side, in my opinion. Yo, Hakeem put Ice T in the movie. Nah, no Ice T. No disrespect to Ice T. No disrespect to Ice T. We cool with Ice T in this one. You see what I'm saying? Didn't Hakeem die? Shout out to Paul. No, it was. You said Hakeem. Hakeem who? From Moesha? Yeah, he didn't die. You mean Radamez? Radamez died in this one. Radamez, Old Man Quiles, and of course, Tupac character Bishop. Those are the only 3 people that died in this. So again, I would keep that original cast and make the original cast characters more so like like a cautionary tale, like the OGs of your neighborhood, like yo, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? And maybe one of them could run the local corner store like Old Man Quiles. That's a a full circle moment where they went from robbing the store and one of them goes to owning the store. You see what I'm saying? So I think that would be fire. And then Raheem died in the movie too. But also, just like in Dexter, you could bring Raheem back as a ghost of such to kind of keep them on the righteous path and keep them doing the right thing, and then leaving great examples for the for the younger brothers or sons or grandsons. So I just think there's a multitude of things that they could do with Juice Part Two, and maybe they don't call it Juice Part Two. Maybe they call it Clout. You see what I'm saying? Or rename it Clout or whatever. So I think that would be fire as well too. But I would love to see a Juice Part Two, not necessarily a reboot where they redo the same story. No, let's progress the story along and have some of these great characters mature and become something positive in a new neighborhood, in a gentrified neighborhood. Yes, Raheem. I meant Raheem Nahaki. Oh, okay. Yeah, Raheem. Yes, Raheem. Yes. Raheem did, like I said, Raheem died. But again, if you ever watch Dexter or any of the movies or shows that bring people back as a ghost and kind of is like their good angel, bad angel type of thing, they could do that with him, or they'll find some sort of way to add him in the movie. But I think it would be fire if they did that. And I think people would actually pull up to go see Juice Part 2 Clout. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, I just like Clout because Clout is more of like a today's word. Juice was more like a 90s word. And, I think that would fit me personally. For the soundtrack, play some Grave Digger track. Of course. But see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. The reason why the original Juice was so amazing because that soundtrack was elked in that 90s feel, right? This movie will only be great if they mix the two. What I mean by that is this. When they showed the older characters, you play that 90s vibe. You know what I'm saying? So it could come back to life, right? And then when you show the new characters, you play the new style of music. So that way you bridging the gap and it feels like everybody's being represented in one culture, in one movie. So I think that would be absolute fire in my opinion. But I'm loving the ideas that y'all spitting out. I love the ideas that y'all spitting out. No, they don't need to touch Jews, bro. I know some movies are meant not to be touched, but I think Juice is. I think Juice is because Juice is one of those movies that, as good as it was, it still left meat on the bone. And a lot of times when we watch movies, we remember movies from like when we're younger, when we're kids, and that nostalgia. But when you go back to rewatch it with your grown man eye, things hit you differently. Like when I was younger, I ain't gonna hold you. Quincy's character, played by Omar Epps, I thought it was cool, again, when I was a kid, that he had an older girlfriend. Mind you, his girlfriend was a whole grown-ass woman working at a hospital and just got out of a whole marriage. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of fly. You know what I'm saying? He got him an older shorty. He could go to her crib, get it cracking and right? But as a grown man, shorty was wild predatorial. Like, dude was still like a junior in high school. And homegirl had a whole job at the hospital. Mind you, she was just married. Like, mad predatorial. So it's a lot of stuff that went over a lot of people head. Like even the great Orange Juice Jones. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Orange Juice Jones, a great R&B singer. He was in the movie Juice. Like, can you imagine your name being Orange Juice Jones and you in the movie Juice? Like, you had Samuel L. Jackson. Like, it's just too many legs that they could build on with this movie, and they could actually make it better. The producer is still alive. The director is still alive. All these actors are still alive except for Tupac. But again, Tupac character already died in the movie. It's just too many legs. They could definitely touch this one, in my opinion. Yep, salute to the 80s, 90s rap, Mobb Deep. That's a fact. You already know how I feel about Mobb Deep, man. Those were stone cold killers. Shout out to Billy Keys in the building. I love the 90s. Shout out to H Buster. New Jack City, good movie. Fact. Shout out to Vic, In Too Deep. Fact. Y'all listen to some fire movies. Y'all listen to some. The only reason I wouldn't be see any of these movies as great as they are, some of them don't need to be touched. I do agree. But Juice can be, because they left too much bones, too much meat on the bones. New Jack City, it can be done again. It can be a better movie. I know some people are like, how? Come on, Ash, come on. It could be a better movie. It can. Answer me this. Like honestly, no disrespect, he can act. But if New Jack City recast Ice-T's character with a better actor, is it not a better movie? I say yes. I say yes. So even though Ice-T do his thing, I don't want to disrespect the OG, because he is a legend. He has some of the, I don't want to say best characters, but some of the characters that I really like Tutuola. He also played this character on New York Undercover called Johnny Up. He was the most notorious character on that. I love this character on that. But when he played Scotty in New Jack City, as a kid, it was cool. But as a grown man, it's like, whoa. Whoa. So I think if they recast him, that would have been a better movie, in my opinion. Because Wesley Snipes was just, he was, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think he could I don't think he matched Wesley Snipes in that as far as the acting. If choose, I put Ice Cube in the movie. No, don't put Ice Cube in that. No, I won't put Ice Cube in that. But I feel you though. Ice Cube is I'm not saying Ice Cube is not a good actor. I wouldn't put him in that. I wouldn't put him in that. What do you feel about doing Juice like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, new characters, and doing it like a prequel type of thing? I kind of don't want a prequel, only because it's not gonna answer any questions, right? Because the original Juice, it has so many questions just off the back, and then even though there's still meat left on the bones, if we do a prequel, all it's gonna do is answer more questions. It's not gonna answer it, in my opinion. Ice-T can't act. Eminem replace Ice-T. Nah. South Central. South Central's another fire movie. Very underrated movie. South Central, the main characters in South Central is better act. It's closely act to New Jack City, because Wesley Snipes' character, Alan Payne, who else? The old man with the glasses, Cobb, Bill Cobb, legendary. They was some monsters in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Christopher Williams, Vanessa Williams, that played Keisha. Dutta Man. Like, damn, this South Central, you had that South Central class was actually really good. That South Central class, the acting was really good. The only person that was, I hate calling people trash in the movie, but I'm talking about the performance. I'm not talking about them personally. The only person that was really trash was the son. Like, the son acting was, like, get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? But he tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing that was just off about South Central. Shout out to Biggs in the building. You're my bro Biggs in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. OG Bobby Johnson. You already know. What is your opinion on the COVID vaccine? Don't get it. Blood in, blood out. Please check the movie out. Come on, man. I'm a movie guy. Blood in, blood out is fire. Could have been a better movie, though. Could have been a better movie. Blood in, blood out is a classic, but it could have been a better movie. And the reason why I say that is this: the guy who was the main character, who played like the white Mexican or whatever, he turned out to be a really good actor now. But back then, you could tell like that was like his first big role, and it was struggle city for majority of that movie. I'm just gonna be honest with you. The brothers, or the guys that played his cousins or brothers or whatever, they were superb. But him, it was struggle city for half that movie. But it was still a fire movie, though. Still a fire movie. Blood Out. I love the KC hat. You already know KC. We going all the way. You know what I'm saying? Vic overacting. That's a fact. That's what I'm saying. But it's still a classic. It's still a classic. Blood In, Blood Out is still a classic. So, but again, Hollywood need to ask us. I would love to see a Juice Part 2. Bring back all the characters that are alive. If they chose to bring back Raheem as a form of a ghost to be that, good angel, bad angel, wouldn't be mad at that. But I think it's just too many legs on the bone. And mind you, Quincy had a little brother played by George O'Gore. Y'all probably mainly know him from My Wife and Kids, where he plays Junior. And him being in this movie would be fire too, because again, watching his brother, going from high school, being a DJ, it could have some sort of effect on him and his relationship with Bishop. Like it's just too many legs on the bone for it not to work. So that's what I would love to see. True, they put a little too much on it. Yeah, like like I said, Blood In, Blood Out, classic movie, but I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But the guy that the main, he ended up being a really good actor. It's just that movie in particular, he was finding his legs in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate Mo123 in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. We got Rwanda in the building, baby. We got our cousins in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Again, this is Ken and Brothers Get a Rap podcast. If this is your first time watching, I'm on every Sunday, every Thursday at 10:30. So again, thank you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s while you're here. If they make Juice 2, have to be like 90s style. I disagree. Like I said, what most people don't realize, when it comes to society shit, we haven't progressed like that. Like, honestly, the biggest difference from the 90s and to now what we in is basically the technology, right? So if they incorporate 90s music into the older characters, because when you watch a movie, right, characters got their own theme music, and that's what kind of like bring it out, right? So with the older characters, if they do use the 90s style, I wouldn't mind that. But when they use the new characters, they gotta have a new style, because the beautiful thing about the 90s, that 90s had its own sound. Today, we need our own sound. That was the beauty of New Jack City. New Jack City had the 90s style and sound that was like proliferated. In this era, we got some great music in this era, but we don't highlight it. It's a lot of fire music out here. 90s was a bit different because it was way more controlled. It was way more gatekeepers. So you in the 90s, you did not have thousands of artists. You had, you had 100 maybe. You didn't have thousands of artists. But we have a lot of great artists now, and we need to really pinpoint the sound of today's era. We can't let this era go on without a sound. Like I really believe that. I really, really believe that. So when they do the new characters, use the new sound. When they use the old characters, use the older sound. I think that would be fire. Do you support Dr. Umar Johnson? That's my cousin. That's my cousin. Yeah, y'all know I'm playing. It ain't my cousin. I have very different views in outside of. Here's the thing. Dr. Umar Johnson, smart man, great speaker, knows how to navigate discussion and conversations. I don't agree with some of the things he say. I don't think he should speak on some of the things that he say, but he's very knowledgeable in history, so I will give him that credit. And that's about it. I don't want to be too, I don't want to tear him down. Like he going through the struggle right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? And good luck to him. So. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Our must-see segment. I'm gonna give y'all some fire must-see movies to tap into. Make sure you tap in. And before y'all ask, I have Warrior at the top of my watch list. I have it at the top of my watch list. You know what I'm saying? I have it at the top of my watch list. So I'm going to have that watch. I guarantee it's at the top of my watch list. It's actually in my thing to watch. Because y'all been telling me to watch Warrior, and I will. It's at the top of my watch list. It literally is in my top of my watch list. All right, y'all. Make sure y'all tap into these movies. Y'all know me. I pride myself on giving y'all movies that y'all never heard of before. Y'all never tapped into. So make sure y'all tap into these movies. I don't think y'all seen these. And I don't know if y'all gonna be honest either, but I'm pretty sure y'all haven't seen these. All right, so make sure you tap into my first movie. Came out in 1996, directed by Marina Sargenti. This movie stars Cassidy Ray, Vincent Arizari, Jamie Rose, and Allison Smith. This movie is called Lion Eyes. Y'all, this movie is wild. Wow, I've never seen a movie like this ever. This movie is about a teenage, a senior in high school on the cheerleading team, and she catches the attention of a lawyer, Esquire, with all the money and everything. I won't ruin it for you, so make sure you tap into the rest of the movie. Again, it's called Lion Eyes. Second must-see movie came out in 1991, directed by Michael Landon. This movie stars Michael Landon again, Casey Peterson, Barney Martin, David Spielberg, and David Kringle. This movie again came out in 1991. This movie is called Us. Fire movie. Again, 1991 style. This movie is about a man that was in jail for 17 years for a crime he did not commit. They finally let him out, and you have to see the rest of the movie. It's a fire must-see movie. Again, it's called Us. Great movie. It's one of the best movies I've seen this year, even though it came out in 1991. The overall message, the pace of the movie, just a fire movie. And my third and final must-see movie also came out in 1991, directed by Martin Scorsese. This movie stars Juliette Lewis, Nick Nolte, Robert De Niro, Jessica Lange, and Ileana Douglas. This movie is called Cape Fear. Another movie about jail, a man that was in prison for a long time, came out, and you have to see the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for y'all. So again, make sure y'all tap in to see Cape Fear. So my 3 must-see movies, y'all. Make sure y'all tap in, and we talk about it next episode. Again, Lion Eyes came out 1996. Us came out 1991. And Cape Fear, again, came out in 1991. So make sure y'all tap into those 3 movies. What can we watch? Oh, okay. All these movies, well, actually, all of these you can watch on Tubi. You can watch all these on Tubi. Shout out to DMV in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. I watched Kate for a few weeks ago, and it's on Netflix for the moment. Sorry, message didn't come out right. Cape. Yeah, you watched Cape. Oh, Cape Fear very recently. Yeah, it's a fire movie. So make sure y'all tap into that. Appreciate Oscar for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s while you're here. So yeah, so make sure again y'all tap into Lion Eyes, Us, and Cape Fear. Again, you can find these on Tubi as well. So make sure y'all tap in. They fire movies, and we could chop it up next episode. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Y'all know I'm going to give y'all a fire artist to listen to. This is our must-hear. Whether it's hip-hop, whether it's R&B, whether it's new or old, I'm going to give y'all some fire music for the great vibrations. The profile artist that y'all must tap into, put these 3 songs on your playlist from this artist. The group Mint Condition, R&B group Mint Condition. Make sure you put these 3 songs on your playlist. Number 1, Nothing Left to Say. Number 2, You Send Me Swinging. Pause. Number 3, Breaking My Heart. Make sure you put those 3 songs on your playlist, again, by Mint Condition. Number 1, Nothing Left to Say. Number 2, You Send Me Swinging. 3, Breaking My Heart. So make sure y'all tap in to those 3 songs. Fire songs, y'all thank me later. Trust me. Shout out to DMV again. Excellent movie, Robert De Niro. At his best, he even shaved his own teeth down to make himself look more menacing. That's a fact. I've never seen Robert De Niro in a role like Cape Fear. So like I said, it's a great movie. So make sure y'all tap into that. And then again, y'all make sure y'all add those 3 songs by Mint Condition on your playlist. Don't forget to hit them likes and 100s. And, you know, we appreciate it, again, each and every episode. We continue to grow. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers. And we're on our road to 20,000 subscribers. So, again, thank y'all for tapping in. All right, y'all, moving on to our must read. You know, I give y'all a book each and every episode, something to expand on. A great fire book to tap into is called The Will to Live. The Will to Live. Finding the Strength Within to Survive. Again, the book is called The Will to Live, Finding the Strength Within to Survive. This book is by Dorinda Williams. So make sure y'all tap into this book. Again, it's a great book based on having domestic violence within your relationships and understanding signs and knowing when and when not to go, or basically when to leave. So make sure y'all tap into this book. Again, it's called The Will to Live, Finding the Strength Within to Survive. Again, by Dorinda Williams. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know, Send Them to Turkey. We came up with the segment because Turkey has some of the most ridiculous laws, and it became an inside joke amongst me and the people on the show that when people are out of pocket, we send them to Turkey. So our first one tonight, send them to Turkey or nah. Remember, to send them to Turkey, type in T. Not to send them to Turkey, type in the chat. All right, y'all, our first one of the night. Nike promotes Nike promotes Sha'Carri Richardson's new sneaker on their website after domestic violence arrest. Are we send the Nike to Turkey or not? Let me know in the chat. Again, type in T to send them to Turkey. Type in not to send them to Turkey in the chat. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. For me, personally, I'm going to send Nike to Turkey on this. I'm going to send Nike to Turkey on it. I understand why they try to promote it right off the bat, because immediately it's going to gain more traction. Gain more traction. I didn't even know she even had a sneaker. So for the fact that they trying to push the sneaker before they even have to take it off the shelf is actually a smart business move. Because now with she having all that extra traffic, people are just going to buy it just because it's like, you know, a top of the headlines, right? And then, of course, when people see it, speak out on it, then they're going to pull it. So they trying to make their money as fast as they can before people even recognize that. I didn't even know this young lady had a sneaker. Lo and behold, she has a sneaker even after her domestic violence situation. And so I'm going to send them to Turkey, because if that was a man, if that was a dude, you think Nike would have pushed and have the wherewithal to, even for the moment, to push his sneaker at the top of the line? Hell no. He would have lost it all. And I don't want to make it a man-woman thing, but we have to make it fair in this instance. So at the end of the day, I'm sending them to Turkey on this. Some people is going as far not to support Nike anymore because of it. I'm not mad at them, because again, if it was a dude, it'll be a whole nother set of consequences. I believe she still has her deal with Nike, but the fact that they even promoting this, especially at this moment in time, is crazy. I don't even think she deserves to have a sneaker at this moment in time, because in this situation, even though to some people it seems like it's not a big deal, it's all about consequences. It's all about earning the right to have certain things. And when you put yourself in this situation, you lose the right. Because again, if this was a guy, if this was a male athlete doing what she did, regardless if it was a domestic situation or it wasn't that big of a deal, the pushes wasn't that heavy or whatever the case may be, it's just a bad look in what it represents. So again, I'm sending Nike to Turkey on this. The chat agrees with me. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Ebony in the building. They agreeing with me about sending them to Turkey. And it's confusing. What message are you sending? Not just to your everyday consumer, but younger women coming up. They're looking at a situation where this athlete is going through this high profile athlete, and she's going to be like, there's no real consequences. So there's nothing to say or deterrent the next athlete from doing something like that. The whole purpose when you take contracts away from the men athletes is to make sure that men and athletes, but if they're in that situation again, it's like, yo, let me make a difference because I could lose everything. I'm not. It's a deterrent. So where's going to be the deterrent for her? So in my opinion, she lost the right to sell sneakers or have her own signature sneaker. But I am the type of person where I do believe in redemption. I do believe there's a time and place for everything. This situation is redeemable. I'm just that type of person. Like, I've been through some things in my own life, and my whole life is not pretty. Shit, it's ugly. You know what I'm saying? But I fought through it. So I don't think any of us can say we have a perfect, upbringing or background, but we get through it, right? And we have to earn the right to have the things that was set to be in society. So in my opinion, she lost the right to have sneakers in this regard. So she shouldn't have sneakers, and they shouldn't definitely be promoting it. Your thoughts on George Floyd suicide? Shout out to She Love in the building. Appreciate you tapping and hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit them likes, hit the 100s. That's not the question I'm answering right now. So, but again, I appreciate you tapping in. So yes, again, I'm sending Nike to Turkey for promoting her new sneakers. I didn't even know she had sneakers out, which is crazy. So, all right, y'all, moving on to our next send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. A shout out to Biggs. Yes, that's a double standard. Yes, double standard. The Minnesota Vikings have hired 2 men to head their, no pun intended, to head their cheerleading team. They fired a couple of ladies and they hired 2 men. And NFL cheerleading and college cheerleading is 2 different things. When you hear cheerleaders in college, it's not the same, because in college they do a lot of acrobatics, so some of those male cheerleaders, not some of them, all the male cheerleaders are guys who are basically our foundation builders. When you see them do them high pyramids, they have male cheerleaders on the bottom to help them build them pyramids, just to make a stronger pyramid and whatever. But pro football cheerleading is different, because you won't see the high pyramids. We're talking about pom-poms and classic dancing and choreography. So they did fire a couple of women to hire 2 men. Are we sending the Minnesota Vikings to Turkey or not? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, here's why I feel. When you run your own business, you run your own company, you do what you want. You do what you want. But you can't scream traditional values and do unconventional things. Me personally, if I go to a game, or when I do go to a game and it's a pro football game, do I want to see male cheerleaders? No. The NFL has been around for what, 90 years, maybe 100 years, and we're entering a new era where this is becoming like, hey, okay, let's bring them on. My cheerleaders, in my opinion, just have to be ladies. I want to see a soft face, pretty face, and I want to see women straight from the tap. That's just me personally. This is no hate on anybody that is cheerleaders, or that's male cheerleaders, that's trans. You do your thing. But my preference when I go to a football game, I want to see female cheerleaders. It's enough dudes already out there in tights that I'm not looking at them in the tights. I'm looking at the game. So when I look at the cheerleaders, I want to see some women dancing and bringing the festivities of the game, which is traditional. So that's how I feel about that. So, are we sending the Vikings to Turkey or not? In the chat, they send them all the way to Turkey. I'm seeing the packed up. They packing them up to Turkey. And I'm not mad at that at all. But again, when you run your own business, you could do whatever you want. You could do whatever you want. So if there's a space for them to do that, they can't. Like, here's my thing, right? For some people that don't know, the NFL has a gay lead. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. Again, when I tell y'all stuff, I don't get y'all to try to like believe in what I'm saying. I could care less. I'm putting y'all on to information. There is an NFL gay league suited for gay men to play football with other gay men. If you're going to have cheerleaders who are men, they should cheerlead in the gay league because their demographic will be suited to that. When you're asking for traditional things in sports, I want to see traditional women from the tap being the cheerleaders. That's just me personally. So there is a space for them to go cheerlead. Cheerlead in that league where you'll be celebrated, where you'll be more than accepted, and it won't cause any type of controversy. But again, when you run your own thing, you could do whatever you want. But there is a space for them. I just don't think it's in the NFL. That's my personal opinion. But again, the chat is agreeing with me. They send them to Turkey as well. Men can be cheerleaders. Don't be a bigot. See, Calvin, you just tapped in, sir. Don't jump out the window. That's one thing I do not like. You can have a difference of opinion than me, but to call me a bigot is crazy. Because if you was listening, men can be cheerleaders. Yes. Men are cheerleaders in college. You do know that, right? And because I know you just tapped in, I just explained that men who are cheerleaders in college is different type of cheerleaders because they do the pyramids and all that stuff. In the NFL, you don't have pyramids in the NFL. They're not doing a whole bunch of acrobatics. So again, for me, going to the game, I don't want to see that. You have a gay lead where that can be suited, where those men who are cheerleaders could continue to be cheerleaders in that league. So don't do that. Yeah, I disagree with you, Calvin. I disagree with you. There's a gay league, there's an NFL gay league that they can go cheerlead in. So we don't need to segregate them. In this instance, we do, because that is suited for that league. Simple and plain. See, here's the thing, right? We all want space and bogart our own space in things where it's just like, yo, this is not for that. And that's not biased. That's not discriminating. This is not for that. If women say, yo, I want to play in the NFL, right? What are we going to say? Like, no, you can't play. You're not big enough. You're not strong enough. You're not fast enough. We're not like what are we talking about? And a part of it, we don't want to see a woman playing football. So why would we want to see rainbow side of the game as cheerleaders at an NFL game? There's a league that's suited for that, which they should be in. Simple and plain. You're not going to get me to change my mind on that, and that's not discriminatory. That's not being a bigot or anything. It's a time and place for everything. And this is not one of them. But because I don't run the Minnesota Vikings, they got the right to choose who they want to choose. Simple and plain. Like, when are we going to be honest about these conversations? When are we going to stop being PC and trying to be PC and not be so like relaxed about the delusion? It's delusional. It's delusion. There is no space for that. There's no, like, we always, not always, but There's people that want to be unconventional in a conventional situation. We not doing that. We not doing that. But I appreciate you tapping in. We have different ideas regarding football, NFL. So I appreciate your comment. I don't agree. Will Black Fatigue follow into violence? Shout out to Tony in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Paul, love how you stick it to your guns, Ash, about the male cheerleaders where women traditionally have been. I appreciate that, Paul. Thank you for the support on that. And I'm pretty sure a majority of my chat feel the same way. But again, we are afraid to have these conversations. And the real sucky part about it is that we can't have a disagreement without getting nasty. We can't have a disagreement like, well, you stupid because this, that, and the third. And I'm not saying that Calvin said that, because he didn't say I'm stupid or anything like that. But he did have a passionate, different opinion as mine. So I commend him for having a disagreement without trying to, trying to make it personal, because it's not personal. It's what my preference is. Like, you can't make me feel about my preference. Like the type of music that I like, right? The type of music I like is the type of music I like. Other people's opinion can't force my preference, and vice versa. That's what makes it beautiful about having preference. But in the sport of football, it's traditional. It's really a rites of passage. It's a damn religion in this country. It's just certain things that I'm just not for. Now, it's not saying that I'm not for, the rainbow side of the game, people having their own rights and things of that nature, because that's false. That's false. I have friends who are homosexual. I have family that are homosexual or rainbow side of the game. So that they're still people too. But again, there's a space and place for everything. And when there's a space and place for you, you can't bogart or find your way in another situation just because you feel like you deserve to be there. If there's a space for you to be there, then you can be there. Simple and plain. That's all the way facts. So that's just how I feel about it. And again, they own their business. They run their business how they want to run it. But as a patron of the sport, of the team, if you put it out, I'm going to speak on it. I have the right to speak on it. So even though it's a difference of opinion, shout out to Lucky in the building. Shout out to Lucky in the building. Y'all appreciate Lucky for tapping in. Say bye to Lucky. Shout out to Lucky. Say bye to Lucky. Appreciate Mike in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes. Hit the 100, y'all. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Y'all already know what time it is. It's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, on Button Snaps. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. That's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. So make sure y'all tap in. Shout out to S in the building. We got India in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes while you here. Don't be stingy with them likes. Hit them 100s while you here. Helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all. First hot topic of the night. Question. Selling or dealing is basically the same thing, right? Selling or dealing hope. Is that considered predatory? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the question is, you could substitute it either way. Selling hope, is selling hope considered predatory? Is dealing hope considered predatory? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. The reason why I asked this question because it stemmed from Dr. Umar. It stemmed from Dr. Umar because you've seen him going through a real rough period, space and time right now. He's been around, I would say, for like the last 15 years. And for the last 15 years, he had what seemed to be a great idea for starting a school for the young men from elementary to high school. instilling in them confidence, knowledge of self, knowledge of power, knowledge of information, history. Great idea. Obviously poorly executed because the school never opened due to occupancy, HVACs, not paying the bill, all types of things. But you had a lot of people, anytime there's a brother out there seemingly doing something positive, you're going to find people to support, protect, and speak up on his behalf, whether it's through social media, whether it's through real life. But when you see a dream, not even deferred, but a dream shattered, is dealing hope or selling hope, is that predatorial? Because he depended on the funds of the public. He depended on the funds of the public mainly because he felt like if he tapped into the places where he could get the funding, that he would basically have to interject some control or receive some control from the person who's giving him money if it was based from the state, the city, doing it that way. He felt like he could have total control of not just the curriculum, but also what needs to be done, the ins and outs of the school. So I find that very interesting because, again, you had a lot of people give. You had a lot of people give. And he constantly asked for people to give on several different videos. You can find it, him asking for donations for the school. And he ended up getting it and supposedly bought the school. Well, obviously he did, had it painted, had everything that he was supposed to have to a certain degree, but he just didn't finish up for whatever reason or the other, mainly due to misappropriation of funds. Is selling hope, is that predatorial, y'all? Is it predatory? And dealing hope, is that predatory? It's basic. You could substitute it one and the same. Is it predatorial? Because again, these are hopes of the community. These are hopes of his and the people that's rallying for him. So now that he's in the situation, there's nobody that is going to come with the check to help him in the situation, bail him out the situation, because that lack of trust due to his actions. And that's just simple and plain. I mean, we do have a lot of people out here from the culture that is rich that will write that check off in a heartbeat. But again, if you're moving a certain way, it's going to turn people off. And he found himself in a situation where people are turned off. So now that there's an auction of the school, allegedly, but there's a lot of court documents that's alluding that it is happening. The auction is really not even that expensive. I believe it's about like $60,000. So there's nobody that's coming that has so much belief in him and so much faith in him that they say, you know what, I got this. We're going to write this check. We're going to get the school back up to whatever else it needs. And we're going to get this puppy rolling. And it's a nice spot in Delaware. It's about 2 buildings. So there's nobody that's going to aid to that. So again, is selling hope to the community, is that predatorial? Because the community is going to give. That's like some of these churches and some of these pastors, where people give their last, and the church deals in hope. They sell hope, and nothing changes. Something needs to be fixed around here. We got the Pastor Love Fund. We got the Window Fund. We got the Bake Sale Fund. We have all these different funds and nothing gets changed. Our neighborhood is not changing. So is dealing hope, selling hope, is that predatorial? You in the city or just a fan of our team? Shout out to King James. Talk about KC? Now I'm a fan of, long life fan of the team. Long life fan of the team. Yes. But is it predatorial? I believe it is. I believe it is. I believe it's predatorial, and it's not specifically to him. This is for anyone that deals in this type of arena. Because most people who deal and sell hope speak very well, know how to retort, know how to reflect detractors, know how to make a small truth seem like the whole truth and nothing but the truth, with passion, knowing how to up your voice, lower your voice, knowing when to hit the high note in your speech. But nothing gets changed. Nothing has been changed. And we have people in our communities that's dealing hope, and nothing has changed. It's predatorial behavior. But then, in a sense, is it really? Because you're also dealing with adults. And these are not, everybody is not mindless. Everybody is not at the mercy of the person that's dealing the hope. You have your own mind. You're an adult. You have your college degree. You know how to think. If it quacks like a duck, look like a duck, it's a dam. So is it? If grown people choose to make a decision to invest in somebody that they choose to believe in, and it's just a dream failed. So it has a duality. It's not just cut and dry. And it just hit me at this particular moment that it's not cut and dry. Because if we feel like it's cut and dry, then we feel like we're dealing with people who minds are undeveloped. I'm one of the type of people from our community, I always say this, when people from our community try to evoke change, try to evoke positivity, I honestly believe there's more people for the positivity and change than it is against it. The people that do speak against it, their voice gets pushed ahead of the pack because the media wants to see division. I really believe that. But when you self-inflict yourself, like Cheddar Bob, he shot himself with his own gun, then it's cause to pause. Any smart person, when you think about business and you think about finances, you ask the question, what money do you need? How do more money is going to be made? And what's going to be the expenses, the upkeep? And how's it going to look in the next 5, 10 years, projections? These are smart questions. Anytime you invest your money into somebody that can't give you real answers, and be surprised that there's no real thing coming off at the end, I'm just saying. Shout out to Leon in the building. Shout out to Harry in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. So we have to be very careful on how we move. Like even with business. And this is so real. And it probably rubs some people the wrong way, but I got to speak on it because I don't care. Like we run away from the truth. We run away what's uncomfortable. When it comes to us in business, when it comes to the culture community, and y'all know what I mean by culture because I don't like referring to us as black. That's not what we are. We're not 3/5 of people. We don't come from a 3/5 of people. We're not 3/5 of a person. I'm not calling us something that was given to us. They gave us color. They gave us black. I'm not calling myself that. That's not what we are. So I use the word culture as a substitute. But us as a cultured community, when we deal in business, automatically we think the hookup, we think the discount, we think the cheap, or we think the free. Or we don't believe. So now when you get people to believe, you have to deliver, yo. You have to deliver. There is no failing when it comes to business with us. because it's already a negative rap, it's already a negative thing behind it. Gotta deliver, especially when you got people that believe. Because now, and this is also messed up to say, as a culture community, we're not looked at as individuals. We looked at as a whole. When one do something, it represents all of us, when that's bullshit. It's all individual based. But it's a part of the game. It's a part of the double standard. We all got double standards in some way, form, or fashion. So we got to keep it real, yo. We got to stop running from the uncomfortable situation. And when there's a disagreement, be cool with the disagreement. It's just going to be a disagreement. It's not the end of the world. I don't have to insult you personally to get my point across. Just speak on what's there. And we'll be so much better well off in that situation. But again, there's a duality with selling hope being predatorial and selling hope not being predatorial. There's a duality in that. Shout out to D-Boy in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. Yeah, appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic, y'all. Shedeur Sanders is still the fourth string quarterback on the Browns depth chart after the outstanding standout game that he had on Friday. He actually has the highest passing rating amongst all rookie quarterbacks in the NFL right now. A report saying that he may sit tomorrow's game, which is not great news for the Cleveland Browns, by the way. But what do y'all think that him still being the fourth string quarterback after that great game? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. For me personally, I think it's bullshit. I'm going to call it like I see it. I say this every show, y'all. Not every show, but when we talk about sports, talk about football, talk about basketball, talk about NFL, talk about NBA. It's not always talent-based. You're going to find talented people in that league. Yes. Some of the most athletic people we've ever seen in our life. Yes. But they fit a certain storyline along with it. Sports, professional sports, it's about storylines. Simple and plain. We've never seen a kid that come from money and be something special in college. We've seen it in the NFL where a kid comes from money and he end up being real good. A la Steph Curry and a few other guys. But Steph Curry was great in college, but he wasn't the guy. You know what I mean? He wasn't the guy. I believe Curry was taken, number 8, number 9. Great point guard coming out of college, but he was miniature. He was small in stature. He was a real skinny guy. Shedeur won the best quarterback award in college. He won the Johnny Unitas Award. He was considered and is the best quarterback in college. We all know who his pops is. So we never seen. And then also Steph Curry and Del Curry, they more like blue collar type of energy. They not flashy kind of guys. Deion give us that flash, and we love him for that. Deion Sanders inspired my whole childhood. I'm going to keep it a buck. Because of Deion Sanders, if you went to the local football games, whether it's Pop Warner, Warner Conference, all across the world, all the kids, we was trying to dress like Deion Sanders. 1,000 wristbands, neck bands, leg bands, towel, all that. That all came from Deion. We didn't see nobody do that in the NFL until Deion Sanders. Great player, one of the best to ever do it. Now, fast forward his son. His son is not even flashy like Deion. And he also plays quarterback. But he comes in with confidence. And come to find out, that there's a thing called prime equity, and the Cleveland Browns was able to give him prime equity of his merchandise. So when they sell Cleveland Browns merchandise with Shador name on it, Shador makes a lot of money from that, as he should, because he come with fans. I guarantee you, if he doesn't play tonight, there will. I mean, if he doesn't play in the next preseason game, there's going to be a dip in their viewership. But more so importantly, his play deserves more reps. His play deserves to be higher on the depth chart. Now, they were saying that they was planning to play him a lot in this next game, possibly even starting again. But there still should have been a result in the depth chart. Like, when are we going to be honest? Kenny Pickett, he's all right. He's all right, but we haven't seen him be great at nowhere he's been. And he's been in comfortable situations. He's been to Philly. He's been to Pittsburgh. He went to college at Pittsburgh. These are all comfortable situations. Cleveland Browns is basically down the road. From Pennsylvania to Ohio is basically down the road. All comfortable situations. He doesn't wow anybody. If he becomes the starter this year, is he really going to put up 3,000 passing yards and take them to the playoffs? What about his play have we seen that suggests that? Deshaun Watson is hurt. He's never going to play for the Browns again. Let's be real. Flacco, possible Hall of Fame player. He's a Super Bowl champion. If he's your starter at 40 years old, how do y'all get better for the future? At 40 years old, he's supposed to be your backup. So in my eyes, I'm letting Gabriel or Shador do their thing. And Shador has looked 10 times better than Gabriel. So the fact that he's still fourth string on the depth chart is mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing to me. He should have easily been moved up to 2 or 3. Even at 3 would have been like, oh, word 3? 2 is more realistic. It's more realistic. Some people say, well, we want to protect him. We don't want him to come out and play against the Bengals and the Bengals, the Steelers, the other team in their division. There's Bengals, Cleveland, Browns, Cleveland, Baltimore, and I can't think of the other team right now. My mind is going crazy. The 2 teams, Ohio, Philly, and Baltimore. There we go. Yeah, Steelers. Y'all get what I'm saying. The 2 Bengals. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? Put him out there. Put him out there. Let him run with the ones. He's going to have better offensive line. Jerry Jeudy on the outside. Your running backfield is crazy. They just signed the kid from Texas, from the rookie from Texas, the undrafted kid who's nice. Put him out there. Got a good, solid defense. Put him out there. So, again, the fact that he's still 4th on the depth chart is mind-blowing. I don't like it. I hate it. He may not play again tomorrow, but, again, I think we're going to see a difference in the viewership based on him not playing. So, shout out to Night Vision. Appreciate you tapping in. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Shout out to Intelligenti in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. We got Brazil in the building. Appreciate you tapping in, man. So again, him being 4th on the depth chart is mind-blowing. He should be moved up to at least 2, in my opinion. To at least 2. Because realistically, if he don't get to go, or Dylan Gabriel don't get to go, it's a wasted year. What do you have to look forward to your team? You got David Njoku out there. I mean, you got too many. Your Cleveland is literally a quarterback away from being a playoff team. Simple and plain. They're a quarterback away. And if you don't let him spin, how is he ever going to get the reps? Let him get the reps. Let him get the experience. Just like Joe Burrow, just like Lamar Jackson. Let them get into the gauntlet. Let them go into the gauntlet. It may not be the exact same of those guys, but the point that I'm making is they have to get experience. And the worse And the harder the experience straight out the gate, the better they're going to be in the long run. Did you just say, shout out to Nick, appreciate you tapping in, hit them likes, hit them 100s. Shout out to, I can't pronounce it, it looks Russian, but we're going to say goodnight to you, baby. Shout out to Joey in the building, appreciate you tapping in. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. A female officer was identified as Laura Sagano. She has been identified as the officer that went viral, that was caught in the passenger seat receiving a sexual favor from her partner. This is, like I said, this is a viral video, and the partner was doing something sexually to her, and it was caught on night cam. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Yo, is that a Chiefs hat beside you? Of course. Shout out to Chance in the building. You already know. Chiefs Kingdom, you already know. You already know. Titletown, baby. Wow, just wild. Didn't hear about that one. Yeah. So her and her partner was in the car, and he's hitting her with a favor of sexual nature. She's enjoying herself, but they called it all on cam, and they got her face closed and all that stuff. And so, I mean, they supposed to be protecting and serving, but they just smacking that ass. I mean, mind you, they're in their cop car. So imagine if they get the call and they pull up and he got sweaty palms and fingers trying to take police reports, all with the smell of his partner all on his fingertips. That's wild. Protect and serve. He's protecting and serving that ass. Supposed to protect and serve the people, not that ass. So I mean, this is crazy. Like, do she lose her job? Do she lose it? Because the fact that she's getting popping on company hours, you know what I'm saying? I know they don't condone nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, he's protecting and serving in some sort of capacity. She just getting pleasured on the job, you know what I'm saying? Should she lose her job? Should she be suspended? Obviously, they're gonna have to either, transfer him or her. Especially her. She has to transfer. She can't be in the precinct and all the other guys in the precinct was like, oh, all right, that's the type of time you had when you had as your partner. Oh, all right, yeah, me and her could go out. Both of them, if one loses, both should lose out of order. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. But to add on to that, I honestly believe that both of them should at least be transferred first. And they should, that's kind of tough, because now if you relegate them inside and just working at the desk, they got inside to play with. Like, this is the problem that was a part of the beginning in the first place. Like, if they would do it outside, imagine what they had access to just inside. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. That kind of probably doing them a favor. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how they will handle this. At least both of them will have to get transferred out, because the reputation. And then what it's going to look like for the other women that work there. You know what I mean? Like, the other guys probably would try them. Like, yo, like, you heard about, you heard about old Laura. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get down like Laura, like, you know what I'm saying? Let's go out. Let's get a car. Let's go fight crime. So that takes a negative image and mindset just in that house alone because of that one person. So, I mean, this is crazy. I've never seen nothing like that. Shout out to Caden in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes. hit the 100s. Appreciate you tapping in. Again, if this is your first time tapping in, I'm Ashley Lovechild, and this is the podcast, Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. Again, thank y'all for tapping in. Appreciate it. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. NBA star Kyrie Irving says he does not support the YN culture. Is he tone deaf or not? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Is he tone deaf or not? Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Me personally, I agree with Kyrie Irving. I do. I don't believe he's tone deaf in this regard at all. I agree with him on a lot of things that he's, done on and off the court in basketball, to be honest with you, But in this particular instance alone, him not supporting the YN culture, and then what people not understanding is that he's not saying he doesn't support the younger bros and sisters in the community. That's not what he's saying. He's saying he doesn't support the YN culture. The YN culture just has a negative image and mindset. When you say YNs, the YNs is out here. That sounds all the way bad. It already took on a negative energy when you say YNs. And as a culture, we have to do a better job at renaming that. I honestly believe that. Because if they take on that negative and that bad energy, they're not going to try to change it. They're going to want to exude it. They're going to want to live up to it. So I agree with him. I don't support the YN culture either. The YN culture, like, let's be real, it's just relegated to culture kids. It's not relegated to all kids. It's relegated to culture kids. And culture kids who are in the neighborhood that's doing negative things. So I agree with Kyrie Irving on this. I fully agree with Kyrie Irving on this. I don't support the YN culture myself. I'm gonna find a better way to even recognize our younger brothers in the culture, sisters in the cultures, than to even refer to them as YNs. I completely agree. I thought when it first came out, it was like, yo, this is taking off and people are identifying themselves as this. And this is very negative. So again, I don't support it as well. So shout out to Kyrie Irving. I don't think he's tone deaf on this. I think he's spot on not supporting the YN culture. We need something better, and we need something more uplifting to our culture, because if they believe that's what they are, they're going to act like that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question. Did the lack of internet save a lot of our greats, whether in sports, entertainment, in anything positive, in any what's the word I'm looking for? In any entity, any era of our culture, did the lack of internet save a lot of our greats, our legends? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The reason why I asked that is because it's a different time. And social media is social media. Social media is undefeated. You can't fight with social media. You can't. It's going to win. Once it take on the narrative, all you could do is say your piece. And hopefully, at some point, people will get it. But when I think of the reason why I thought of this question, a lot of people don't know that certain people in the entertainment space, in the sports space, in the political space, did a lot of bullshit back in the day. And because there was no social media, people obviously, it didn't happen. But it did happen because we had something called the newspaper. And that's how news used to get transferred and shared. That was the social media. That was the Instagram. That was the YouTube. That was the Facebook. That was the X. And so on and so forth. That was the TikTok. So, again, I brought this up because of Karl Malone. Karl Malone, at one point in time, as an NBA player, as the franchise player of the Utah Jazz, got a 13-year-old pregnant, 13-year-old girl. And of course, back in the day, when it was in the newspaper, everybody didn't read the news. It was more so word of mouth. So still to this day, even though this happened in the 90s, we're in 2025, a lot of people have never heard of that. You got a 13-year-old girl pregnant. Now, can you imagine being in today's internet space, social media space, that an NBA player got a 13-year-old girl pregnant now? He'll get kicked out the league. No matter how good he is. People just wouldn't stand for nothing like that. People wouldn't even support nothing like that. You want me to buy a ticket to a game where you got a rapist on your team? Like, what are we talking about? So I believe the lack of internet saved a lot of our legends, saved a lot of our greats. That's part of the reason why I don't jack Karl Malone. You won't see me with a jersey on. I'd rather buy a John Stockton jersey. Pass me that Jeff Hornacek jersey before a Karl Malone jersey. And oddly enough, and great for his son actually ended up making it to the NFL. Really good player, plays the offensive line. But just the sheer fact that it was done to this 13-year-old girl, and regardless if he was in his 20s or not, still a grown man. Grown man. You got the, like, come on, let's be, like, again, when we're going to start being honest about these conversations? You in the NFL, you in the NBA, dog. 90s, 2000s, 2025s, 2020, it don't matter. You got top tier, I would say physically top tier, not mentally top tier. Physically top tier women throwing themselves at you, making it to your hotel, making it to where you order your food that you could have easily got with to get that popping, to get that nut off. And you seeked out a 13-year-old little girl? Come on, man. Come on, man. That's wild work. That's wild work. So obviously, again, it goes to my point that the lack of internet obviously saved a lot of our greats and a lot of our legends that we hold in such in high regard. That's wild. And again, his jersey is retired. He had sneakers. He's had an amazing career. He's a Hall of Fame player. But should he lose the Hall of Fame because he did something like this? I think he should. Because again, what message are you sending? Again, and this is coming from a person that thinks all things are redeemable except acts against kids, acts against children. Acts against children is not redeemable in my opinion. And I'm talking about children. Children. I'm not talking about teens. Even though that is also sketchy as hell. And I don't support that at all. I want to make that crystal clear. But I understand time. And what I mean by that is this. I understand that a lot of our grandparents, at least 10 years apart. Grandpa, when did you meet grandma? Oh, when she was 16. I was coming home from the war. Grandpa was a grown-ass man. So that was a part of the culture back then. And then being that different states carry different statutes. Places like, you know, the South, Alabama, even though I don't jack it. But again, I understand point in time. I remember the times when I was in junior high school and the high school kids would come down to the junior high school, which was mind-boggling to me. Like, you're in high school, dude. Go get you a high school girl. Go get you a college girl, bro. Like, they better. Like, what you talking about? Like, they grown. That was my thought process. But again, I understand time. But this is clearly something different. And this man is a Hall of Fame player. So again, the internet saved a lot of our legends. A lot of them. And he's not the only one with that checkered history. I guarantee it. Shout out to y'all in the chat. Y'all showing a lot of love in the chat. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Again, hit them likes, hit the 100s, hit them likes, hit the 100s. Who do you prefer, Jay-Z or Benzino? That's not a real question. Shout out to King James, the internet. Straighten up a lot of people and organizations. That is a fact. That is a fact. Shout out to Free, homie. Just, yeah, if you check yourself. Come in here real respectful. If you don't come in here respectful, I get rid of you. And you gonna come into my chat talking crazy, homie, just ranting, no one ignoring the chat. Bro, you couldn't get the amount of people I got to do anything at one time. So relax yourself. You in my chat. If you don't want to be here, bounce. This guy don't know me, y'all. He don't know me. Weirdo. He gonna ask me a question, then try to diss me because I didn't answer the question. Like, get out of here, sucker. Chuck, shout out to Chuck. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin, and he was basically as big as Elvis. That's a fact. Yes, back in the day, and he was a grown-ass man. That is a fact. That is a fact. They even did a movie about that. I believe it's called Great Balls of Fire. That was like one of his biggest songs, if I'm not mistaken. And there's a movie based on that too. Yes, yes, yes. Even Elvis himself married his cousin. Or a 15-year-old. It was either a 15-year-old girl or that was his cousin as well. Yes. And they just released a movie on Elvis. So again, I understand time, but also the 90s wasn't a time when you could pull stuff like that off. But he did. And he's still getting celebrated. They differentiate in his what he do on the court and what he did in his personal space. And I can understand that to some degree. But to be a Hall of Famer, to have his jersey retired, that's a whole nother thing for me personally. When was the last? Yeah. Shout out to DB for being weird. Hit the likes, hit the 100s. Drake or K Dot. Appreciate Clip in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin. Right. Facts. That's a fact. That's a fact. John H. That's a fact. That's a fact. So again, a lot of our greats, a lot of our people that was going to go down in history was saved because of lack of social media. The way that we get information out. You could just look something up now. You see somebody on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, you could just look them up and see their background. Be like, all right, yeah, all right, he cool. He seems solid. So, now I definitely agree with that. Heck, go back way far. I know it's fiction, but Romeo Juliet, I think Romeo was, is 30s. Well, I get what you say, even though it's fictional, but you remember the original Romeo and Juliet was man on man. It wasn't a woman. It was man on man. And it's a fictional character, but it was man on man. Shout out to some in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. You from, well, ask your girl. Ask your girlfriend if I'm from that group. She'll know. Shout out to King James. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Chicago man. Again, he was big on TikTok, social media. Chicago man Kevin Tug Moolah Watson was unalive during his live. He was robbed and killed during his live, and it's sad. I seen the actual video. He was doing a live. Obviously, I seen it on TikTok when he was, talking on his live. Again, he's well known from his media platform, and he was robbed right on his live. And they didn't show the murder, but you could hear the shot go off, and he was unalive. At this point of the game, We got too much negative energy in our culture. Too much, and it was alluding to what I was saying earlier about the why in culture, right? Because we didn't see who did the shooting. We just seen somebody yank him out the car. He was being yanked by gunpoint, and then the shot went off. So the fact to rob somebody because they have nice jewelry or a nice car, that is slave mentality, yo. That is that Willie Lynch mentality. Good versus evil, tall versus short, fat versus skinny, light versus dark, rich versus poor. When we can all help each other, we got to start normalizing that the robbing culture is it's a sad culture. And I get the fact where it's like, yo, I need to eat. But wouldn't it make more sense to what I'm about to say is going to invoke more violence? But wouldn't it make more sense to work with people instead of trying to take from people, especially from your own community? Wouldn't that make more sense? Like when I was talking about the Doge checks the other day, somebody was in the live like, yo, why are you on about the Doge checks? Because it takes people with money to worry about money. Because obviously you're not going to worry about the money. But the person was trying to swear up and down that they were so college educated and they do so well. Great. Wonderful for you. Wonderful for you. So you're that removed from the culture where you feel like because if you don't miss a meal, you're going to be all right. But we live in a country, we live in a world and in a country where people can't miss a lot of meals. People live check to check. And that's something you bash. Supposedly that you're supposed to be college educated. You're supposed to be, on this, sitting on your high horse. But as a culture, it's something about that Willie Lynch mentality that we have against each other. Like even on, like I said, on his live, even if it wasn't on his live, just the fact that he tried to rob him and kill him. And my thing is, if you're going to rob somebody, why kill him? You're already getting what you're coming for. Why unalive him? So it's just really sad. In our culture, that is a part of the culture, and it doesn't have to be. I'm born and raised from Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York. New York in itself, the city as itself, is one of the most competitive cities. It's from people that's from other places. It's a rude awakening. It's not like everywhere else. It's not like LA. It's not like Florida. It's not like certain parts of in the South. It's definitely not the Midwest. It's a competitive space. So much to the point where most New Yorkers don't recognize themselves as New Yorkers. It's like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn. You from Queens, bro. You from the Bronx. It's so competitive. So imagine what we could do if we all was like, yo, we New Yorkers. We all teamed up. We all about the same energy. We all about the same thing. But even New York, being as competitive that it is, that's not a place where somebody could say that they're the king of New York. There's no such thing as being the king of New York because of the competitive nature. One thing I do love about Florida is that the most people in Florida, when they get into the money, you can really enjoy your money in Florida. And most people that get to the money surround themselves with people that get to the money and people that want to get to the money. But here's the kicker. The people that don't have the money don't look at the people with the money and be like, yo, I want to rob them. No, I want to get to where they at. It's motivational for them. That's the difference in mindset. Places like New York City, Los Angeles, yo, I'm taking that. Putting your whole life on the line for a tool. Jewelry, money. These are all tools. All of these things are tools. And you're putting your life on the line. Your mother could be losing a son. Your girl could be losing a boyfriend or a husband, and your kids could be losing her father. Is it that worth it? Why not dig a little deeper, work a little harder, and get it on your own? That's one thing, not one thing, but that's one of the things I love about Florida is that everybody here, their competitive nature is when somebody's shining, it's like, yo, I want to shine like that. I'm going to get to my hustle. So that the fact that this happened in Chicago just goes to show the mentality that, yo, it's like we robbing from each other. It's the poor robbing the poor. How are we going to get ahead? It's a crab in the bucket mentality. It's that Willie Lynch mentality. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate y'all tapping in. John H. I was younger. I used to wash cars for money. Joey Doe. Me too. First job. Shifting gears. What's up, Unc? What set you rep? Shout out to Joey Doe again. Working at car wash. In 50s plus. Border town. I mean, at the end of the day, get to your hustle. Get to your hustle. Like we are in a culture where most people rather look cool and to say that they don't work a 9 to 5 than to actually work a 9 to 5 and to be cool, to build a lifestyle for yourself. We come from that type of culture, and I just don't understand it. That's a part of the reason why we rob, why we steal. And ultimately, we're putting our life on the line. So we have to normalize, you a thief, you a robbing ass? Yeah, I can't be around that. That's low class energy. You have to rob to do that. So meaning to tell me you don't have it in you to work to get a nice chain, to get a nice watch, to get a nice car, to have just money in the bank where, you know, or find an investment to double your money, to learn about finances. Oh, you're not on that type of time? Oh yeah, nah, he washed. We need to normalize that. Because that's the better way, the bigger money to get. And without going to jail, without putting our life on the line. So it's just sad to see this brother. He was pretty known on social media. Again, his name was Kevin Tug Mullah Watson. And again, he was unalive during his live. So rest in peace to him, and my condolences to his family. Again, hit them likes, y'all. Hit them 100s. I appreciate those comments, y'all. Which country are you from? From the U.S., my brother. Shout out to Marrow in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Wooden gold chain mate. Really great retirement gift for a slave. But see, the thing is, they not retiring. And it's the mentality. You know what I mean? Joey, I work at a casino. It's evil. When they say money is the root of all evil, it's really not. It's not. It's not. People's trauma is the root of all evil. People's trauma, because money is a tool. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. People say, well, is it tools reals? Yeah, but tools are manipulated. Tools is used for what we need it to be used for. If tomorrow they came out and say, yo, everybody in the world that has cash, buy still. In 6 months from now, we're no longer using cash. The bartering system is still. So the more still you have, the more ways you're able to buy things and get things and barter things. That's all money is a bartering system. That's all it is. So money's not real. These are all tools. So again, people's trauma is the root of all evil, because it's not real. Sorry, homie. So homie's evil. Yeah, okay. Appreciate Black. Okay, shout out to Walter in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Have a good night, my brother. He was being super weird. Shout out to Diane Moore in the building. You can find still anywhere. That was stupid. Jesus Christ. See that again? This is what I'm talking about, yo. One, respectfully, you couldn't disagree. Two, because you can find still any and everywhere, it's easy to transform cash into still. So if they say still is the bartering system, that's just an example. Baby girl, stop. 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 Be careful who you call stupid, boo. Your response, your response is crazy. No, I don't need to use a bad example. Use your mind. If I said it's an example, it's an example. It doesn't have to be the exact. What are we talking about? Cash is king, you know? For now. For now. We didn't always use cash. Diane, you think the world we lived in always used cash? We use something called gold, silver. What are you talking about? What is that made out of? Jesus Christ. Woo. I mean, I feel you, Diane, no doubt. Just, God bless you. Bless her heart. Bless her heart, y'all. That's crazy. Use a better example. No, use a better mind. Dumbass. Delight. 1 Timothy, King James verses. One love, money is the root of all evil. Who controls money? Who made the Bible? It's John H. Gold nuggets. Yeah, we use coins, different materials. We use something else before coins. Oh God. My goodness. And again, you're the example of what I've been talking about. So I know you just tapped in. You know that person that tapped into the last part of the conversation and just be talking out their ass, just talking out of feeling. They not speaking out of no type of foundation. Crazy. Crazy. This lady. Yeah. Crazy. You gotta go help the cause. Always, but see, again, it's so funny that the people that don't have it, meaning people with the millions of dollars, right? It's not up to them to save the world. It's not up to them because they don't have all the money. They don't have all the money. People who set the laws, people that have the billions of dollars, they could give every person 100 grand and still be billionaires. They control the money. They have all the money. But we look to people in the community that have very little to give little. And what do? That doesn't make the change. So we have to look to the billionaires. We have to look to people who actually make change and lower cost of living for that values to go back up. John H. Going way back, the gold rush years. Joey Doe from Arizona. Okay. Zigzag, Kansas City fan here, 38 years loyal. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? I got you though. I got you by 3 more years. Got you by 3 more years. I'm native Indo. Okay. Sup blood. Shout out to Jack off in the building. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. Yeah. So again, you know, shout out to again Kevin Tug Moolah Watson. Again, he had lost his life on live, and again, my condolences to his family. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. Sha'Carri Richardson and Christian Coleman. The extra police cams was dropped. And we seen what really happened depending on the first, the first incident that happened. The first incident that we seen was basically Sha'Carri pushing him around in the airport. And then they showed the extra police body cams. And the police reports were spot on. It ended up with her being arrested. But if you watch the body cam, she wasn't understanding the fullness of the situation. She tried to find every way to get out of it. And then she tried to blame him. And then mind you, he was trying to he didn't speak bad on her, not even tried to speak bad on her. He did not speak bad on her. And the cops was asking, like, was this a domestic situation? Like, what was going on? And he was like, no, nothing like that. It was just, I was just trying to get her to realize, like, we're in the airport. And, we just need to, like, calm down. But nothing happened. He even said nothing happened. But Big Brother TSA, they seen it and they had to arrest her. And what she didn't understand, and she probably has an understanding now, because it was caught at TSA, one of them have to go to jail. And because she was the aggressor, she ended up going to jail. She obviously pushed him several times, threw her headphones at him, and the whole 9 yards. She thinking it was him that's like, yo, arrest her. She's abusing me. But the reason why she had to get arrested, because if later on they get to where they get to and he unalives her or she unalives him, now TSA could be liable for either one of their deaths, in a possible death, I should say. So that was part of the reason why somebody had to get arrested, mainly due to her aggressiveness, her, just her being, being aggressive towards him and pushing him around. So she had to get arrested, and she didn't understand that. First, she tried to use him saying, well, okay, if I'm being arrested for abuse, I want him arrested for abuse. I got proof that he was abusing me. Oh, interesting. Then she tried to get him to get her out of the situation. Then she tried to use the woman card. Then she tried to use the fame card. So it's like, what are we doing? And what's scary about it, she was willing to lie and throw him completely under the bus for something that he did not do, obviously due to this camera work, and just lie about it because she was in her feelings. And that don't sit right with me, regardless if that was a man or a female doing something like that. That doesn't sit right with me. You don't get to change people's life because of how you feeling. How dare you? You rob them of the right to, support themselves, support their family. That was the reason why I spoke on earlier why she should lose the right to sell sneakers. She should lose her deal with Nike. Just for the simple fact that she thought she could even pull something like that. She even said it. I'm the woman in the situation. Like, she couldn't understand. She couldn't grasp it. You putting people's lives in jeopardy. Like, let's keep it real. If there was no footage and she came out and say, well, he was abusing me, that's why I reacted to him, a good amount of people would believe that. Why? Because that shit does happen, right? But because there's no video, it's like, yo, she looked like a good person. She looked like somebody that don't lie. She lied to the police right off the back saying, yeah, this is not a domestic situation. There was nobody putting hands on nobody. Like, she volunteered this information when she walked up to the cops. But obviously, they already knew. They seen the footage. What are you lying about? They already seen it. So now she put herself in a very bad situation, tried to put him in a bad situation, and she just wanted him to burn just because she was burning when she caused it. Even through the situation, she's blaming him. She's like, yeah, Christian Coleman is, he's putting me through this. And she's on her phone, on her headphones, saying this while she's talking to the police. So that makes me wonder, what type of love do we have amongst each other, yo? Like, if y'all realize, some of these hot topics have been a theme. And it's been culture related. And it's lack of love and how we see each other within the culture. On one end, we willing to see each other burn. But that same person you want to use to get you out of a bad situation? No. Again, if this was a dude, by the time he would have got off his flight back home, lost his place on the team, lost all his memberships, what's the effect? He lose the ability to provide for himself and for his family, and he got to start all over again. So damn, it's like, yo, where is the true love amongst the culture? If we got somebody like an Olympic champion that had the obviously the skill and the charisma to wow the crowd, to be beautiful, and to have this side on you is very scary. I mean, it wasn't funny, but the funniest part was she was like, yo, can you just unlock my cuffs so that way I can be more comfortable? It's like, yo, one, where you think you at, boo? Like, nobody ain't loosening them cuffs, yo. Like, yo, I don't want to make this a man-woman thing because I don't like doing that. I like keeping things individual based, right? But when them cuffs is on you, they not letting that go unless a big dog for real that's really in tune and tapped into them is like, yo, let this person go. You don't got no big dog in your circle like that to, yo, let them go. And secondly, you one of the fastest people alive. Like I know she's an Olympic champion, so her face is all over the place. But yo, she panicking right now. She's trying to find every different reason for them to let her go. So in the midst of her panicking, they let her cuffs go. She cook it. Like who catching her? Who catching her? Ain't nobody catching her. Ain't no cop at the damn airport fast enough to catch no Shikari. Ain't nobody, or Shikari. Ain't nobody fast enough to catch no Shikari as an airport cop. You feel me? With all that panicking, all that things that she was going through, they even read her rights. You're supposed to remain silent. Anything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. She was not exercising that. So again, it's like looking at the situation. If they didn't have these police cams, we would have took her word for it. We would have said like, damn, he's a foul dude for whatever he did. But the only real proof that we have is her. So being now this cop footage and what she was saying and what he did say, and even when she got arrested, he still was taking up for her. He still was looking out for her. And at the end of the day, a swift kick to the nuts. Shout out to the chat. Y'all been going in the chat. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Rowan Jack, what's good, Rowan Jack? One of our day ones, one of our badge holders for tapping in. Michael Vick would have caught her. Yeah, but Michael Vick ain't no airport cop. You know what I'm saying? He ain't an airport cop. Maisha Johnson, a shout out to you. She gave away her name. She gave her name security all through. They was away. Stop it. Stop it. No, cut it out. Yeah, we're not doing that over here, boo. Stop it. You stop it. God damn it. Think you're talking to. Talk is cheap. When you celeb, cops not letting you go, period. When you a celeb, cops is not letting you go, period. She did snitch though. She did snitch though. But see, here's the thing, right? It's one of those panicking moments. Again, you ever be in a relationship with somebody and then y'all break up, and then during the breakup, they say all the things that they've been wanting to say. Oh yeah, and you know, one of your boys holla at me too. And just so you to know, the girl around the corner, she may like you, but she only like you because you pack it. Or something stupid like that, right? And you're like, oh, so you had all this information and now you telling me? Get out of here. So that panic was real. That panic was real. Shout out to T Hayes in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. You too old for box braids. Yeah, your girl don't think so. She don't think so at all. It's weird when a guy comments on another guy's looks. That lets me know everything about you, bro. That's weird. Appreciate you, though. Hit them likes and 100s while you're here. But I know for a fact your girl would like it, though. Shout out to you, weirdo. Ike Love in the building. Ike Love, partner. Love the name. Can a relationship be saved when cops get involved? I think it depends. If I'm speaking for myself, damn, it depends, man. Cause I ain't gonna hold you. Like some of the relationships that we've all been in have been so filled with love, and then it's also been that little bit of that toxic. So it really depends. Like, if a cops get involved based on something that y'all both are doing, and y'all both know that y'all wrong, and y'all both gonna assume responsibility, then if y'all both on the same page, then there's a space for some sort of, meetings of the mind and being able to move forward. Especially if there's alcohol involved, drugs involved, because that does impair your decision making, right? But if it's just sheer out of emotion and you're trying to hurt the other person and you're using the cops as a hurting tool, as a hurting mechanism, then no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially when you're trying to hurt the other person on purpose, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So to me, it always depends, but it's not for everybody. So for example, if I'm him, if I'm Christian Coleman, I'm getting up out of there. I'm getting up out of there. Anytime, and this is what I really believe because I've been through a toxic relationship. I really believe once you really get the those red signs, the red signals on how toxic that y'all both could be, or because sometimes when you with somebody toxic, they could bring that out of you. You know what I mean? Basically, if they say something slick, you say something slick type of thing. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with it? That type of situation, it's best for y'all to just break up because they're only going to get worse. And then obviously that situation got worse. This is why I believe that keep your hands to yourself is the only policy, yo. Men should not be putting their hands on women, and women should not be putting their hands on men. Keep your hands to yourself because it only progresses. When you go from the pushing, the little throwing of the headphones, there's going to be throwing to something else. Yo, every man is not wired the same. Every man has a different type of reaction based on their traumas. Like, it's crazy. Like, in this country, men, like, real talk, we are taught to hunt and kill. But we taught to turn that off when we dealing with the weaker vessel. Some guys can't turn that off and on, yo. So again, when you start putting your hands on each other, that's dicey. And to me, it's only going to escalate. Because at some point, if a guy is getting slapped by his woman on a regular basis, at some point, he like, yo, you're not going to keep slapping me, yo. I'm a two-piece you, I'm a suplex you, I'm a leg drop you. You going to know not to slap me again. And I just don't advocate both men hitting women and women hitting men. I don't advocate either or because anything can happen. Anything can happen. Who raised you to hurt and kill? Society, man. What type of question is that? The whole theme of tonight is Willie Lynch mindset, slave mindset. I just talked about the guy that got unalived on his live by somebody that looked like him in his own community. And we not taught to kill each other. The whole fact that when people go to other neighborhoods, we got to check in. That's a killing mindset. That's a murderous mindset. What are you talking about? You either kill or be killed. Please. And we share the same real last name. If you're really asking a genuine question, cool. But so again, men and women should not be putting their hands on each other. Should not. Should not. So we got to have that going on. And it's unfortunate that we seen it in this eyes, but I'm glad we did get the extra police cams because it put things in perspective. So, all right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question to my music goers. Question to my music goers out there. Do New Yorkers Do New Yorkers have East Coast bias when it comes to music? Let me know in the chat. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna let me know in the chat. Do New Yorkers, do we have East Coast bias when it comes to music? Let me know in the chat. Shout out to Larry in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Word, that's what we doing? That's what we doing. Misha Johnson, yes. Okay. Rowan Jack, no. Paul, yes. Okay. Tana, yes. Tana Gonzalez, yes. So I'm seeing, okay, John N. I'm seeing the overwhelming yes. As a native New Yorker myself, I'm seeing them yeses is rolling in. Yeah. Yes, yes. Sadia said no. Larry, I like to subscribe. Appreciate that, Larry. Appreciate that. Are you half white? No. You see my parents behind me. East Coast is objectively better. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? New Yorkers, is there an East Coast bias? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Reason being is because as New Yorkers, we like fire shit. Simple and plain, we like fire shit. If you realize most New Yorkers or most rappers from New York, they're quicker to do music with people from outside of New York. We may not do songs with each other in New York, but we quick to work with somebody outside of New York. So we do embrace other cultures of rap, or just the same culture, but other areas of rap. Like for instance, when I was a little kid, the first person to introduce me to Master P, and Master P was the ice cream man. It was told to me by another East Coast dude. Yo, you ever heard of Master P? I'm only like 8, 9 at the time, and I'm like, yo, nah. What the hell is the ice cream man? And I'm like, oh, the music is alright. Trick Daddy from Florida. Trick Daddy made some of the most popping music in that late 90s, early 2000s. I thought his music was fire. And so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So I don't think we have an East Coast. And then you have a lot of New Yorkers that used to support Tupac, that used to support Death Row Records when it comes to Dr. Dre, when it comes to Snoop Dogg and all those great artists that they had on Death Row at the time. It just got separated because of the beef between them and Bad Boy. But as far as our taste and what we like in music, I don't think we have an East Coast bias at all. I think we just like dope music. Now, if you ask us what we prefer to listen to, there's going to be East Coast artists in our at the top of our list, but there'll also be artists from other places on the top of our list too. So I don't think it's an East Coast bias when it comes to music from New Yorkers. Like, even if you're in New York, believe it or not, rap is not the most popular music in New York City. Most people don't even know that. The most popular form of music in New York City is reggae. Whether it's reggae, dancehall, oh my God, reggae, dancehall, or soca. That's what gets the party started in the average place in the East Coast, especially New York City. Especially New York City. You want your party to be dancing and everybody getting it popping. Reggae, dancehall, soca. It's going to get the vibes right. Very rarely we play hip hop in an East Coast party. Very rarely, especially in New York City. When we're talking about New York City, so especially New York City. So at the end of the day, I don't think we have we don't have an East Coast bias. But we love our artists though. We love our artists. We love, like I said it on the last episode, my top rappers, my top 10 consists of East Coast artists and West Coast artists. It doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy the Midwest or the Dirty South artists. I just said I was a big fan of Trick Daddy in the late 90s, early 2000s when he was really active in making music. Big fan of Jeezy when he was really active in making music. Big fan of T.I. when he was really active making music. Big fan of Outkast. I remember one of the first albums I bought was Aquemini. One of the very first albums I bought. So I don't think we have an East Coast bias. And then, mind you, when I was like a freshman in high school, and this is a minute ago, y'all, you know what I'm saying? This is when Nelly came out with Country Grammar. I thought Country Grammar was popping. I thought that joint was popping. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was popping. T-Pain is another one, Roman Jack. Popping. So again, the average New Yorker, do we bump the artists that I just named? Yes. In the early 2000s, mid 2000s, there was a Southern explosion. A Southern explosion. If you was in New York City around that time, you heard nothing but the South on the radio. If you go to New York City station and radio, they don't even play East Coast music there. And we got some fire artists in New York City. Fire artists. Not just myself, but you know. But we got fire artists in New York City that the city should be rallying around. When I go to the South, they play Southern music. They play Southern artists. The Southern artists that they play don't even sell or stream millions at a time. They local guys that if you go to the local club, they play this music. If you listen to the local radio, they play their music. West Coast does the same thing. Midwest does the same thing. I remember I send you know, when I do my radio runs, I had to really make my way to an Ohio station. Because just me saying I'm from Brooklyn is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, oh, you not local? Oh, we really got to listen to this music then because you're not local. So that lets you know that they play the local music. New York, East Coast radio station, that music consists of everybody else and not East Coast music. And we got some fire artists. We've been had fire artists that should be on the radio all the time. So we're not biased. We're not biased. I will say that. I remember that No Limit. Shout out to Skin in the building. In the 80s, hip hop was big in New York. They put Southern. Hip hop was big. It's still big in New York. But being on the radio nonstop, that died. I don't want to say died, but you've seen a huge decline in the mid 2000s, because the early 2000s you still had, you know, DMX, Jay-Z, you know, the Locks, you had Cameron's crew, Dipset, Redman, Method Man, Wu-Tang. You still had a lot of those groups and great artists, Busta Rhymes, all into the early 2000s. But somewhere in the mid 2000s, that Southern energy came. And the reason why that Southern energy was such an explosion is because they all mess with each other, right? If you from Georgia, they just called it Atlanta, and it was like, yo, we just gonna rock out, bro. I know you're not necessarily from Atlanta, but we gonna call it Atlanta and build the movement behind this. And New York City is so competitive. Yo, I'm from Brooklyn, bro. Like, don't mix me up with them Bronx niggas. Don't do that. Like, and that's the mentality when we all should have been like, yo, we all New York City, bro. If you look at it, most of those big time artists from that time, they didn't look at the rest of the world as competition. They looked at each other as competition. So again, if we would have stuck together, it would have been better. But the biggest problem is that older guard didn't embrace the younger artists. They wanted to hold it on, but you had younger artists that was popping and that was hungry, and they didn't want to show that love. So that's part of the reason why that died. When you had groups like Outkast and other groups that was popping, they was able to venture off, click up, and still bringing the younger crew right under them. So that why was part of the difference. It's not because we haven't had great music. We've been had great music from a multitude of different artists. This is Jim Jones, autism. Autism. Come on, bro. Cut it out, man. You trying to be a stain, bro. Cut it out, bro. I'm over here speaking truth to light, and you trying to be a stain. You trying to stand out by speaking negative. Come on, man. And you on my live on top of that. So if I'm autistic, then what are you? And you're listening to me. Smart. Yeah, you was for real in the special ed class. Tyler, Most Def, Black Thought, Bambaataa, in their own class. Chris Ross. Shout out to Tim in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Good night, Tim. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like we didn't have like that big brother love to keep it going. So that's why you still see New York artists still bring out great music, but it's fragmented. It's fragmented. There's no, you know what I'm saying? But Atlanta is still popping. And shout out to Atlanta. I moved to Florida because of just, you know, the weather is just beautiful out here. But even in Florida, the energy is different in Florida. Like Florida is so popping. If you popping, they mess with you. They mess with you. You know what I'm saying? Out here. So shout out to Florida too. You can't read them out. Soldier Boy. You know, Soldier Boy. He did a lot of great things for the industry. I will say that. He doesn't get the respect that he deserved when it comes to his business acumen in the music space. I'll say that. Definitely say that. He does has a couple of bangers too. CRTI. Shout out to Bailey for tapping. Appreciate it. Hit them likes, hit them 100s, hit them likes, hit them 100s. So all in all, New York City, we do not have a East Coast bias. If it's popping, if it's hot, we're gonna rock to it. Again, I'm a big fan of Snoop Dogg. Love the Dog Pound, their sound. I think G-Funk is a cheat code. It's some of the most fire production and rap that you can ever have is G-Funk. That shit is a cheat code because it gets you bouncing and it creates fire hooks and you could just hit them with them bars. That's why somebody like and rest in peace to Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg used to float on them hooks. And then you just be bouncing and rock like, yo, G-Funk is so fire. So I don't believe that New Yorkers, we have an East Coast bias. Even though we love our East Coast artists, but we love great music. We love great music. Shout out to Ike Love in the building. Told you I love that name, bro. From Belly Pause. You know what I'm saying? Ike Love, partner. You know what I'm saying? Do you have a favorite Bay Area artist? I'll say Too Short. Or is he from Oakland? I think Too Short is from Oakland. So I'm going to say Too Short if you consider in Oakland. And I'm going to say, you know, when I was a kid, I didn't like this dude. But as I got older, I appreciate his music because he had his own slang. And I understood the slang later on. It's my bro from the movie Three Strikes. He's always at the Warriors game. He wear glasses, kind of heavy set. But I appreciate his style of music, though. I appreciate E40. There we go, E40. Yes, yes, yes. Love the lingo, love the slang. Oakland is the Bay. Okay, cool. So I would say Too Short, E40. And then I actually have a friend of mine. He's a newcomer, but he's dope, though. He's dope. And we had a show together, and we did a show in Houston together. And he was doing this thing. It was the first time I've ever seen him perform and do his thing. Shout out to your boy G. If you don't know him, look him up, your boy G. I mess with your boy G. He got that slang and that lingo. LaRussell's dope. La Russell is dope. He's dope. If you want, I know you don't want to step to this. G-Funk era, funked out with that gangster twist. I'm telling you, that them beats, that production was, it was kind of cheat code, man. G-Funk is a cheat code, man. Like even in my albums, I always sneak in one G-Funk production because I just love them beats. This is fire, fire. Even though all the rest of the beats is all New York based, but you know, you get my point. Gold Birds, but yeah. But yeah, some dope artists. So that's why I say New Yorkers, we don't have an East Coast bias. We love dope music. We embrace all music. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, you rock with what hits your heart. You know what I'm saying? So again, shout out to artists everywhere that really be putting that music on, regardless of area code. Um, and even me as a New Yorker, I get weird compliments on my music. Man. Like, yeah, yo, you dope for, you know, somebody from Brooklyn. I'm like, yo, what do that mean, dude? Like, what you mean? What you mean? We breed dope artists out here, man. What you talking about? But again, I also get it because the type of style of music that person said I'm dope for a New York artist. He doesn't listen to New York style music. So, but he listened to mine. So I respect that. So I respect that. So again, it's individual based because again, I'll bump Jeezy in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, the Snowman, I'll bump that in a heartbeat when I was coming up. You know what I'm saying? Even, but he's not active no more. But y'all get my point though. You know what I'm saying? To me, if you dope, you dope. Me personally. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. I want to say rest in peace. Rest in peace to the legend, Dr. Diane Spencer. She was mostly known, famous for her role on What's Happening Now, and the movie As Good as It Get. She was born 1965 and just passed away from a cardiac arrest stemming from gastric cancer. So again, rest in peace to the legend, Dr. Danielle. I'm sorry, Dr. Danielle Spencer. Rest in peace, and my condolences to her family. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment. Keep the lie alive. So my keep the lie alive on this episode is accountability versus cancel. Again, accountability versus cancel. Cancel. It's one thing to cancel someone. It's another thing for them to like have accountability. And the theme of this show, the theme of what's been going on in this week, that a lot of people is not taking accountability for their actions. Now, all be that it may, all things ain't for public consumption. But once you put it out there publicly, you're gonna have people that's going to respond. Simple and plain. Once you put it out there publicly, once you're a public figure, what you say, what you do, is going to come back to you. Even if you don't owe everybody an explanation. But you do owe people an explanation if you depend on people to buy products, go to games, stream music, watch movies. So there is an accountability that has to be owed and paid for if you don't do that. So at the end of the day, if you don't agree with somebody, do they automatically need to be canceled? Nah, no way. Because there's a cancel and there's accountability. And at the end of the day, if somebody takes accountability for their actions, there's nothing wrong with saying, yo, I can accept that and move on. We live in a day and age where everything can be canceled. Certain things is canceled. Like, yo, if you on racist time and if you on pedophilia time, there's no space for redemption in my book. But that's just me. Everybody else is different. I can't get with you if you want any type of predatorial time with kids. Adults, people make their own decisions. But the point that I'm making is you have accountability versus cancel. Everybody don't need to be canceled. Again, I have to speak on this because this is a hot topic, like how I spoke on about it earlier. Again, Sha'Carri Richardson. If she took accountability for her actions, people would actually accept it, and then in due time, she could get a place and space to regain her good name. But because she won't take accountability, it's making it worse. So people are talking about not only canceling her, but also canceling Nike, because this is a brand that's attached to her, that's choosing to attach themselves to somebody that would do this. We all don't live a clean life. There's a space for redemption, but that accountability, whew, if you don't take it and you don't say it, you're going to get canceled. And we also live in a day and a space, some people don't care about nothing about that shit. Me personally, I don't care nothing about that shit. Me personally. And the reason why I don't care is because whatever I feel like I would do that's not right, and people get mad or people would get on me or something, I can apologize about something that I'm wrong about. Yeah, absolutely. Having that accountability. Yo, I was wrong. But if I have a different opinion than you, then you could kiss my ass. See what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, accountability versus cancel, we have to decipher what's going to be real. Because cancel is really not real unless it hits the pockets. When it hits the pockets, then it's real. When you're just saying it, and when people have a space for redemption, then let them accept accountability. Force them to accept accountability, or just don't mess with them anymore. It's that simple. So that's my Keep the Lie Live for this episode. Accountability versus cancel. Yo, shout out to Malu in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. One of our day ones in the building. Rowan Jack, appreciate the gifted. My brother, victimized children. Sorry, I don't speak wood chipper. That's a fact. So having a bad. So shout out to Ike. So having a bad day determines your character. No, that's the point that I'm making, right? Because we all have bad days. There's always redemption for almost everything that we do. But there's also a thing between having a bad day and something being a part of your character. Like one of the movies that I suggested that y'all watch. The movie is kind of cringe. It's not kind of cringe. It is cringe. Because you see that in one particular character, it was a part of his makeup. And it's crazy when this movie came out that they showed it in the movie, but it's a part of the reality that we live in based on that character's, like his get down. A part of his character in itself. So I don't want to ruin it. So that's why I want y'all to go see those movies that I had mentioned earlier. Because they are must-see movies. And I tell y'all to see these movies for, a myriad of different reasons. But yeah. So having a bad day don't make you a bad person. We all have bad days. We all have bad days. But we also have to be careful with that too. Because just because you have a bad day, don't make me your punching bag at the same time too. So we have to be careful how we distribute that anger, that energy. We have to be very careful. Colin, I would just say, let you know, 1, 2, once crawl away from me because this ain't worth it. Can quarrel rest in their lives, feel free, but I'm not. I'm gonna be happy. Shout out to Malu. Marlo sharing that love in the chat. Love the love in the chat. Love the love in the chat. Yeah, so I like again, shout out to Ike Love. So I agree with you. So having a bad day determines your character. No, no, it's a bad day. But we still have to be very careful on how and who we give that energy to, because it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair. But we all have bad days. That's a fact. That's a fact. And the reason why we have to be careful, because I said it on past episodes, you could spend a lifetime building your reputation, but you could lose that reputation in moments, and now you have to spend another lifetime building up that same reputation. So we have to be very careful, even when we do have bad days. Prometheus, appreciate you tapping and hit them likes. Be positive, be positive, be positive, be positive. We don't do that. Be positive, be positive. Hit them likes, y'all. Hit them likes, hit them 100s in the chat. Yes. So yeah, so that's my keep the lie alive. Accountability versus cancel. And it takes on another ideology too with that whole situation. It's like, believe what I say and not what I see. Believe what I say and not what I see. Listen to that for a second. Believe what I say and not what I see, or not what you see. Believe what I say and not what you see. So that's like saying, are you going to believe me or your lying eyes? And that fits so well in the theme of accountability and cancel. It fits so well. It doesn't take much to have accountability, yo. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. Does it fit? You're not 20 anymore, my dude. I don't know what that was supposed to, that here doesn't fit. Oh, your girl think it fits. Yes, your girl likes it. Yeah. So if that's what you call being positive, yeah, your girl likes my hair. I said it before in the chat. It's very weird when a man comments on another man's anything, his hair, clothes. It's just weird. And you in my chat calling me names, bro, you're telling on yourself. You have no, you don't even have a picture of yourself. It's just weird. Shout out to Malu. Well, it must depend on what perspective eyesight have, but if you don't know what you are watching, one is not being able to judge. Feel me, Malu? Again, I love the trolls. That's all it is. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? They don't get that type of love in their real life. When I turn this camera off, just like y'all, I'm valued in my real life as well. Because this is a part of my real life. This is not an act. This is not an act. This is me. So, KC winning the bowl this year. That's a fact. Let them know again. Let them know again, LaFons. Titletown, baby. Pause. Titletown. Facts. Facts. We winning the Super Bowl. I'm talking big heavy this year. Talking big heavy this year. I'm not gonna be humble this year. I'm talking big heavy. My boy Patrick Mahomes came in about 20 pounds lighter. You know what I'm saying? Looked like he been taking his vitamins all off season. You know what I'm saying? We gonna win that. Who that nation winning the? Who that nation? Who that nation? Who that nation? Who that nation? No, 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 no. Y'all not. Y'all not. No. And y'all try to cheat by getting 2 #1 receivers on your team, might I add. You know what I'm saying? You got 2 #1 receivers, and we still gonna bust y'all up. Mahomes not playing this year. I already bet it too. Got big odds. Now that's a fact. Cincinnati not seeing us this year, bro. Pat or Lamar. Bro, you see the hat in the background. You see the hat in the background. You know what I'm saying? Or Patrick, dog. Or Patrick. He could run and throw. You know what I'm saying? Run and throw. But shout out to Lamar. Lamar's what, 2-time MVP, 3-time MVP? Lamar's a bad boy. Lamar's a bad boy. And I said this is my top quarterbacks, and some people got mad. But I don't care, because I don't care for people to agree with me. It's just me telling my story. Or just saying my side. Patrick Mahomes, number 1. Number 2, I do have Josh Allen, because his ability to run and pass seamlessly, and he's working with less. Lamar at my number 3. Daniels at my number 4. My number 5. Oh, I'm bugging. Daniels at my number 5, and 4 is Burrow. 4 is Burrow for me. Burrow is nice, though. Burrow's nice. You never hear me say Burrow's trash. Jalen, Daniels from not Hurts. Daniels, I know it's a lot of Jalen's in the damn NFL, but Daniels from the Commanders. I hate that name, by the way. Terrible name. Bad boy, label trash. When? Bad boy in the 90s wasn't trash, bro. Even in the 2000s, they wasn't trash. They got too many fire artists. No, Jalen, Hurts, Lamar. Oh, is Hurts or Lamar? Oh, come on, Lamar. Lamar hands down. Hurts is good. Hurts is good. Hurts is a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. He does have a loaded team, but he navigates that team well. I don't think you put any other quarterback in there and they just win like that. Redskins. They should be the Redskins again. Commanders are super buns. I can't stand the name. And then what makes it worse, they don't have a fire logo. That logo is ass. That logo is terrible. But y'all, I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in. Y'all been amazing as always, man. For real. I'm on every Thursday, every Sunday. Every Thursday, every Sunday at 10:30. If it's your first time tapping in, I'm your host, Ashley Lovechild. This is Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. Again, I'm on every Thursday, every Sunday. I want to thank some of the sponsors of the show, Button Snaps and OUV Records. If you're interested in becoming one of the sponsors of the show, you can hit me on my Instagram at Ashley Lovechild, or just pull up at Ashley Lovechild. So again, shout out to the sponsors of the show. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. We're a little over 11,000 subscribers. So again, continue to like, subscribe, and share. We also got membership portions in the page. As you can see, we have members in the chat as well, badge holders. So again, tap into those badges. Different memberships have different access. Also, for those of you, again, for the first time tapping in, I want to thank y'all for supporting my new EP that's out right now on all music platforms called Winners Loyalty, especially for my hip hop fans. Again, tap in to Winners Loyalty on all music platforms. Type in Ashley Lovechild on all music platforms. Also, I want to thank, again, the presenting sponsor of the podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentary for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's button snaps.com. Again, that's button snaps.com. Again, I'm on every Thursday, every Sunday. You hit that all notification bell. I do pop up throughout the week to show that love and energy and have these great conversations. Y'all been extremely dope in the chat. Some of y'all been trying to crack jokes or whatever. Good try, you know what I'm saying? But just come better next time, you know what I mean? But again, I appreciate each and everybody, even some of those trolls. Still appreciate you. Still nothing but love and light. Seriously, I don't say that haphazardly. Bro, shout out to Ike Love, bro. I just subscribed. Keep up the solid work. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, man. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate all of y'all, man. I really do. for showing that love and energy. I got some big news coming up that I can't wait to share with y'all. And it's not music related. It's something else that I'm working on, and it's extremely fire. And I can't wait to share that information with y'all. Like it's one of my babies. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here, you know, making a baby over here. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's gonna be fire, and it's well worth the wait. Okay. See you, Ashley. Have a wonderful time until the next time, till the next live. Appreciate you, Malu. Appreciate you tapping in as always. Again, we're on every Thursday, every Sunday, and I'ma see y'all next time. And y'all already know what time it is. It's love, and I'm out.